Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Design Fusion NX webinar series. I hope everybody had a great weekend, and I'd like to thank you for taking a little bit of your busy schedule to join us for these live webinars for NX designers. This will be session number 1. All right, so just to kind of give you an overview, this is a very rudimentary for anyone who does not know NX. It is designed for managers, supervisors, new employees, prospect, or anybody that's interested in any individual that's interested in just understanding NX. I like to emphasize that this does not replace the instructor-led fundamentals course. It is designed to introduce you to the capabilities of NX, and once you've gone through these series here, you have a better understanding to some basic tasks. All right, just kind of go review the schedule here. So today is going to be session number 1, and like I said, we're gonna go ahead and talk about the interface, talk about the display, kind of the clicking sequences for the mouse, creating sketches, and trimming those sketches and creating geometric constraints. And then we'll go ahead and continue on to the tomorrow, which will be the 21st. There'll be session number 2, session number 3, and session number 4. And finally, the 24th, session number 5. All right. So each presentation will be PowerPoint presentation, better with videos and demonstrations. This presentation is being recorded, so it will be uploaded to our social media channel for later review. All right. So let's talk about get started with the introduction of NX. So when you start NX for the first time, you're going to see this no part environment. Basically here, you have a couple options here. You could go in and basically either open up a file, create a new file, or simply go to the recent part documents that you've used maybe yesterday or day before. All right, so when you click on the new command, that's going to allow you to select a template. Basically, these templates help to reinforce company standards. And you can see here, just go open up NX here. So if you click on the new command, you're going to be able to see the templates. And you can see there's quite a bit. This is going to be, basically, we're going to be focused on the model here. Obviously, you got assembly and other environments here. We also have specific templates for specific industries. So you can see that for ship general arrangements, press line. I mean, there's quite a bit of industries out there that we're able to work with and set up these templates. So once you select that, you simply click on the template that you want to work with, and at that point you can say click OK. And that's basically how we get started here, right? We'll start with the sketching here. We'll talk about that a little more later. But essentially, that's how you start. If I want to go back to, let's say, for example, if I want to open up a file, right? Typically, the NX files is a PRT file. That's the extension. You could click on the open, and basically that's going to allow you to go and browse for that particular file wherever it's located. If you're in managed environment, this is going to look a little slightly different. But if that's the case, simply just go and find that particular folder, find that particular part, select the part, say OK, and you open up the part. So again, if I go back up here, if I close this, say no, and if I go and open up a part, click on the command here, and again, that allows me to browse to whatever part I want to open. Not only that, but it also allows me to select files from different CAD systems, right? You got, for example, you got Solid Edge in here, you got IGES, Step, you got some CATIA, V5, you got Parasolid, and also SolidWorks. You got part and assemblies. and you got a lot of the neutral format there as well. So that's how you go about doing that. All right. So go ahead to the next one. And then once you, let's say you've opened up a file, you did some work to it, or create a new file, obviously you need to save that. So in that case, simply click on the Save As, and I'll go ahead and play this little clip here. Basically, you go in there, File, and do a Save As, right? We also have the ability to save as a different formats as well. So if I go back in here, um, and let's say I've opened up this part right here. I already had this part, and I'm gonna go ahead and save that. So I'll go save as in here, and you can see that obviously you can still save it as a native PRT file, but I also could save it as a step file, AutoCAD, or CATIA. You got them ACES files in there, and also steps. You also have the ability to go and export that. I go and export this. You can see that right here. It gives me the ability to select the step file, IGES file, and again you got DXF, DWG files. Lightweight format, JT format, if you wish to do that as well. Okay. All right. All right. So let's talk about a little bit about the ribbon bar. So the ribbon bar is basically where all the tabs are at. It is organized in a logical form where it's kind of a, so you see the home, you got assemblies, you got curve, and so on. These could be fully customizable. You could add, remove if you wish. Okay, if you want to customize that, you can have to click on this little arrow here, and that comes up. And once you do that, you get the customization here, and then you get this dialog box here, which allows you to select how do you want to go as far as customizing that. So if I want to do that, again, I go simply come up here and go to the customize. And once you do that, you can see all the tabs in here. You can expand that, and obviously the file corresponds to these right here. See that tools? If I had the part open, it would give me more options here, but you kind of get the idea there. But yes, these could be fully customizable. If I open up a new part here, let me just go ahead and do that real quickly here. And I select the part file here. So I just want to show you how you could literally grab one of these tabs here and actually move it out into the graphics area. If you have a dual monitor, you can simply drag that over to the other side, whichever side you want, and then just place it there. But again, you could basically, if you want to push it back, just place it back in there. On the ribbon bar, you got obviously, you got the names here, you got the tabs, and kind of explain to how they're organized, and you guys the groups. You got features, you got synchronous modeling, surface modeling, assemblies, and so on, right? But further over here, you got the item number 3 here, the command finder. That's a really neat tool, especially if you're coming from a different CAD system. For example, if you were, let's say, for example, used another CAD software, and you type in that CAD software you use Thinwall. Well, in X, you don't have that. We have it called shell, right? So if you type in Thinwall, well, it's gonna say, well, we have a shell. Not only that, but it's also gonna tell you where it's located. It kind of gives a little description of what it is. So basically, that's what it comes down to, right? If you're using another CAD system, you type that in here in the command finder, or you type in shell itself. I mean, yes, you could do that as well, and go and tell it where it would tell you where it's located. NX is a very complex CAD system. It's got commands that that I still need to probably sometimes type in and just to figure out where they're at and where they're located. So this is also a very helpful tool. You can also launch the command from there if you wish. So let's say that. So if I go in here, and I already had it typed in there, so I hit that enter, and you can see that it sees that what Thinwall is, but that's in the different CAD system, and so and NX, what we call it shell. Okay, so it tells you where it's located, and I can also again launch it from here as well, or simply click on that, and it launches it this from as well. Okay. Let's move along here. So the dialog boxes, they have a top-down workflow. So for example, this extrude, you could see that you could expand those arrows here, and based on the depending on what command you're on, this obviously this will vary. So in some cases like that, you could just say, you know what, it's maybe I want a little bit less or I want a little bit more. And basically the way that works is if I would go ahead and let's say click on the extrude command, just kind of show you that, and you can see them right here, and this is already been expanded for me. There's a little gear here. There you could actually, if you wanted to show less, and you kind of see how it kind of show you less there if I want more, and you can kind of see that as well. Very useful tool. Okay. All right, so the next is the visual cues. This is very, very important to understand. And basically, it's kind of telling you, guiding you in a way where, okay, well, orange indicates that it's the current selection, and that's where you're at. Then anything that's indicated with the red asterisk basically says this is a required selection. So you cannot go any further unless you select something in here. And obviously, the green is basically saying that the selection required has been met or has been inferred by NX, and you move on, and simply at that point you click OK. And you could see that in here as well. So you could click on that. Say I'm going to click on the a plane here, and it will tell you that's yes, it's been selected and so on. Okay. All right. So you could also have these dialog boxes snap and anywhere, or you have them float around the graphics area. So if I go in here and go back to my NX here, and I'm gonna simply click on that command just to show. See this? So I could simply snap it in there. Just snaps right in there, or anywhere here. See that? And it just scroll it anywhere in that direction. Okay. Okay. So the other one is a user interface preferences. In there, you want to go further on the customization. You have to go to the file and preferences user interface. In there, so basically, let me just show you that where's that. So let me cancel this command here. Simply go in here, preference, and user interface there. And in here, you have quite a couple of selections that you could change. If you want to change the theme here, let me just kind of quickly show that. You go to the classic. If I click apply, you see how everything kind of changes to the old classic look. I could come back and change that to classic with font. And again, it kind of gives you that. I like to go back to the recommended one right here, the light. It seems to be the nice interface theme there. And at that point, you can simply click OK. If you want to take that further, you also have another option right here under it's called customer defaults. And if I go back in here, I believe I have to literally exit out of here and then come here. And there they are right there. You click on that and you can see you get a lot more in here. I mean, this is a lot. And again, you got some tabs here you click on, select. I mean, it's just again, this is you could take that further a lot more. Actually, I think what I did here, I think I skipped some slides there. There you go. Okay, so the next one is basically shortcuts on how to use your mouse clicking. So for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and open up this part here. All right. So a couple of shortcuts is like, say for example, I want to go ahead and simply do a left mouse click here, and it's gonna give you these options right here, right? So it gives you basically edit parameters, roll back, and so on. Okay. Now the next one is if I do a right click, I'm gonna get some the same ones, but I also get more optional ones right here as well. And a lot of these are pretty much still the same. Yeah, see that right here, you got added parameters. Well, guess what? That's added parameters as well. But you still get more options here at the bottom here. And you can see the icons there that kind of look very similar to the ones on the top here. Okay. All right. Anytime you select the right click on the back graphics area there, you're gonna get the your traditional fit zoom. Well, if you are using, let's say for example, I do that right here. I right click here, and see that right there. You get the fit. You get the zoom, right? Point to the area there. Right click and go effect again. Well, I use a 3D connections space mouse. Very helpful, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. You can see that I'm not doing anything movement on the mouse here, simply rotating it, zoom into a particular area there. I highly recommend getting one of those. It's a very efficient way to do CAD work. All right, so you have other options here, right? And this is holding the shift control, and then based on the button mouse you click on the mouse, you're gonna get specific shortcuts. So let's do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you that, right? So I'm gonna do again, excuse me, shift and control. I need to get out of that command first. And you can see that based on that, I'm gonna get these right here, and these are customizable. These extrude, and you got the edge blend, and that was the left. And I'm gonna go ahead and launched it. The next one is going to be the middle button mouse. You can see that. I could change that as well. Again, customizable. And then the next one is going to be the right mouse click. And again, I'm holding the shift and control. Okay. All right. Oh, I think I skipped one there. When you click and hold right mouse, you also get this area here. You get on the graphics here. And again, I'm holding down, right? So I'm gonna just play this quick clip here. So again, doing that, hold, right? You get that, right? And at the bottom here, now if you want to be specific, you go right mouse and then select an object or feature, and you're gonna get that. See that? Again, you could go to edit parameters, edit rollback, suppress, or even go to the browse as well. All right. Here's another shortcut here. If you right click on the object, a shortcut menu will appear with the commands for the object type. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick here again. See that? And you can see some of these icons, they kind of look very similar depending on what you want, which you feel more comfortable, which one is the one best fits you. It's up to you how you want to utilize those. All right. You also have the home, which is going to make you trimetric view. The N is going to give you the isometric, and the F8 key is going to give the closest to that view, the normal view to that, depending on the orientation. So if I go back in here, right? So excuse me. If I hit the home, see that, and then the N, that gives me the ISO view. And then if I say, let's say for example, I hit this closest to this and hit F8. See how it gives me snaps into that normal view there. Again, if I do that, I'm literally doing the F8 right now, and you see that how it does that. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the key quick pick. Okay. This is a very useful. You're gonna be seeing me use this a lot. So basically, what happens is you hover over a feature, and you're gonna see the little crosshair with the 3 little dots, and that's basically indicating to you you're able to select quick pick. Now there's a slightly delay there, right? You could change that if you go to the preferences and selection, and you could change that right here. So again, depends based on what you select. If you do a left mouse, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get that quick pick, and if you do a right mouse click, you're gonna get this right here if you want to go edit parameters, and then if you go on the select from list, you're gonna get the quick pick. So let me just show you that real quick here. All right, so let's say I go and hover over a feature. I'm gonna go to this guy right here, and I'm gonna wait for that. See the little cross here with the 3 little dots, then do left click, and there it is right there. All right, so I'm gonna close that, and this time I'm gonna do a right click and wait for the crosshairs there with the 3 dots, and then do right click. Now you see that I get basically edit parameters, edit rollback, and if you click here or select this, select from list, well then now it sends you back to your quick pick again. So whichever you feel more comfortable. All right, so creating sketches, right? So sketching is the foundation of basically how everything starts, right? Everything starts with a sketch. And basically that's how you determine your intent by applying geometric dimensions, constraints, to establish that intent. Features are created from sketches associated with it, right? So if a sketch is changed, well, guess what? So is your features going to change. So there's that association there. All right, so let's go ahead and show you how the workflow of creating a sketch. So at this point, you already enter the new part, for example, and at this point, I'm going to create a sketch, right? So the way you would do that is click on the sketch, select the plane, and click OK, and it automatically goes into a sketching environment. So if I do that, and I'm going to close this, so I'm going to go to New, and I'm going to select the template that I want, right, and say that's fine. I'll make that inches, and select OK. All right. And then at this point, I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, I'm going to create a sketch. Select the plane, whichever plane you want. Or see that right there is kind of giving you the deferred plane right there, which is this one right here and on your X and Y plane. So at that point, say OK. That takes you to the sketch environment. All right, so at this point, you're ready to sketch. Okay. So once you're in the sketch environment, you got a couple options as far as selecting how do you go about starting your sketch. I'm going to show you a couple scenarios here, I guess, and then show you which was the preferred method. Again, that could vary based on how you want to create your sketch and things like that. So so let's say, for example, if I'm going to create a line, I'm just kind of giving you what the results you're getting from if just by selecting the line. If I do left click, and you see how you created a line there, right, which is exactly what you wanted. But if you want to continue on, you have to come back and snap into the end there and say, yes, that's the endpoint right there, and continue on. And there it goes again. I have to go back again and so on, right? And that's the same thing with obviously arc and things like that, right? Or rectangle. No, I'm sorry, not a rectangle. Rectangle, you just simply left click, and there's your rectangle. Go back and do this. The preferred method I prefer is simply use the profile, right? And there's a shortcut for that. If I hover over that, that's Z. So if you hit Z, that gets you right in there. Okay. So let me just kind of show you how I would start my sketching, right? Again, obviously you need to have an idea of what the shape of the part is going to be. So at that point, I could simply start my sketch by left click, and here left click again. And you can see it's a continuous, right? I'm just doing left click here. And I'm going to zoom out a little further here so I can kind of, and this time I want to apply an arc here, but yet I'm still in the line, right? So at that point, what I'll do is I'm going to go back to the endpoint here, left mouse click, hold, and just drag out, and that's going to give you my arc. All right, and at that point, let go and place it, and it continues on with your line here. So you can see that. And maybe I want to put this at some, I don't know, some like different angle or something like that, and finish off my sketch here. Something like this. And at that point, do a right click And at this point, if that's what you want, you could simply click Finish Sketch, or if you want to continue on with something else, you simply okay, fine. There it is. All right. Sometimes, ideally, when you place a sketch, you want to have a X or and Y direction, right? The orientation. Let me open up this part here so kind of show you what I'm talking about here. So let's say I'm gonna open up this part here. Oh, and I need to go in NX and actually close out of that sketch. It will not let me open up another part until I close out of here. So I'm just go ahead and close that. All right. Now I go click on my link here and say open. And there it is right there. All right, so I already have my part here, and I want to create a sketch here. So I'll simply click on my sketch command here. And obviously you can see that, and by selecting that, it kind of gives me a preview where I want to place in my coordinate system here. I'm going to say place that right here, right? Accept that. And at that point, you say, you know what, I changed my mind. Actually, I want to place it somewhere in the center here. So I could simply click on that, left click hold, and then simply let go. And there it is now. And at that point, say, yep, ready to sketch. All right. So if you notice some of these dots here and dotted lines here and so forth, that's giving you visual information here, indicating you if you want to maintain that alignment. For example, the dotted line here, the dashed line is actually, well, I'm inferring, or NX is inferring to you that, indicating to you that that's might be a vertical line, right? So that's the constraint you want to apply that in. And it's a very useful tool. All right, so let me just kind of show you a quick way how that getting that indication and understanding that. So if I go back in here, and since I already have this part open here, I'm just gonna sketch somewhere right here, so it gives you an idea. So for example, I'm gonna click on the profile, and you can see that dot line. I did a little arrow there. That's telling me, visually indicate. I'm sorry, that's a dash line. That's gonna be a horizontal, right? And I could move on, right? And then if I go in here and say maybe I want it to be at the midpoint of that, see that? And sometimes you need to come back and kind of select it if it doesn't pick it up. And at that point, I can move on. I know that's going to be at the midpoint of the bottom line there. And again, just kind of work my way in here, right? This time I'm going to make this one a little bit on an angle here. And you can see that, zoom in a little closer here. I don't know if you can make it out there, but you can actually see it indicate to you that's going to be perpendicular to the line that's highlighted orange as well. So I'm going to click on that and say accept that. And kind of work my way in here. And basically doing the same thing. I don't know if you can see that, but there's also a parallel. Zoom out here. There we go. Right there. All right. Not only that, but it's also giving me I'm going to be midpoint to that as well. So I'm going to say yes, and my way out. So I'm just kind of visually showing you